So do you guys both start kind of around the same time, or how'd you guys get? I guess let's rewind back to, your number one Alec deputy in your county. You just won Deputy of the Year 9 months before he gets into roofing. So obviously you're getting dopamine hits right and left. Everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, you're so cool. Look at you." This whole pride thing of being in the blue, proud and blue. And where did the whole element of I want to start knocking on doors come from? Why the shift? What happened?
So honestly, it happened last summer with all the riots and everything. A lot of stuff happened with how I was treated, how my family was treated, anybody that associated with me. Basically called my best friend Richard Nye, who's the brother of the owner of Skymark. He was a deputy with me. David was a deputy, the owner as well. Called him, basically just asking for financial advice. Like, how do you get out of being a cop? How did you give it up? I'm having to work 60 hours a week. My off days just to put food on the table, so provide a nice life for my wife. How do I get out? And they said, just come out, check it out, work for us. And first off, I said I was in the infantry in the military. I was a cop. I'm not exactly what the society deems as a people person. I don't think I'm going to be very good at sales. And I promised him I would give it a shot. Took one day, and I said, I can do this.
Love it. And were you successful right out the gate, or did you get your face kicked in, or how was your first couple of weeks?
So basically my first couple of weeks, I was working part-time, still a cop, and started off just getting friends and, deputies that, couldn't, had to find damage on the roof because they couldn't afford, $18,000 roofs. So they told me, check it out, knock their neighbors. Started off pretty well, good enough to where I'd sit on, the days that I had to work as a cop, sitting there thinking I'm missing out on thousands of dollars, sitting here, eating Chick-fil-A, taking calls, and I don't want to do this anymore. I want to make doctor money, and my wife not have to worry about whether I'm coming home or not. Let's do it. So that was probably 2 weeks in. My wife walked in the living room, asked me what I was doing, and I told her I'm writing my resignation letter. I said, I'm done being a cop. I'm going to knock doors.
How did she take to that?
She's like, sounds good to me. She's like, it's not like you're making, great money now, so at least you'll be safe. So
yeah, because there's an element of I think there's people don't recognize, I guess for you, Trip, you're getting shot at. There's a potential the next morning you don't wake up, and you got families, and you got you're making $20 an hour, and yeah, you're wearing some cool uniform, you're helping do cool stuff, you might get in some cool fights, but at the end of the day, there's probably an element of is it all worth it when there's other ways to make money? I guess what's your story, Trip?
So basically, I was in the infantry like Alec. I went to the police academy at 18. My bright futures got cut for budget reasons in Florida, so I didn't have college money. So it was either that or the Marine Corps. I went to the police academy, graduated when I was 19, got a job at the sheriff's office when I was 19. I was on the SWAT team within 6 months, and that's kind of how the sheriff's office closed me on. This place is fun to work. It's fun to work here. And I was ate up with it 5 or 6, 7 years, give or take. And then I watched the industry change. I watched guys leave and retire or get fired for, wrongfully, in some cases. And it kind of changed my perception that I'm just an ID number. And then I knew I wanted to change. I just didn't really know where to go. I grew up with our shingle supplier, and small world, just blessed. He introduced me to David, the owner. David knows law enforcement, obviously. He comes from that background, same with his brother. Sat down with David in late spring of 2020. Just kind of flirted with the idea. Wasn't all in just yet. He kind of told me, the opportunities that are here. And I was like, well, that sounds a lot better than what I got now. Long story short, an incident happened at work where I felt like I wasn't being taken care of, really. And that changed my whole perception. And that day I called David on the phone and said, "Hey man, I'm ready to go. I'm all in." Just took the dive, man. Put bricks on my ankles and jumped in the ocean. And I was like, I got nothing to lose and everything to gain. So I can always be a cop somewhere else, you know? But really the big turning point for me was when a lot of guys leave, they come back because they're scared of the unknown. And I had a couple of people tell me, "We'll see you back in a few months." And that put a chip on my shoulder and really helped me lock in, because now I'm not doing it for me. My why is that chip on my shoulder, and now my why has changed, but for a long time it was just that chip on my shoulder to prove them wrong. And that's kind of what drove me at first, is to just prove to them that I can do it, and then show the other guys that I like, that I know are good dudes, hey man, there's other ways to make income besides work here. And that was kind of my why at first, and how I fell into the industry. Blessed, really. I don't think I would have succeeded in other companies the way I see they're ran. I think I would have done okay, but not to the level I am now. So I'm pretty blessed to work where I work to begin with.
Dude, and I spent some meaningful time out there in Florida. Billy and David, their owners, just for context, I went and out and knocked during the tour. And it was fun. I was able to spend some time knocking with Alec and knocking with Tripp and knocking with some of their guys, and just the, you know, the systems, the trucks, the look, the branding, the culture. It was cool. Like, and them sending you to our sales boot camps, and them, you know, like investing in you guys shows a lot about the owners. Because like a lot of times, you know, you do feel like you leave a stable, you know, $20 an hour job into the unknown of commissions, and it's kind of a sink or swim, and you jump with these weights on your ankles, and you're like, well, that hurt. Ow. Nobody told me it was like a hard landing. It's like, and so
it's reassuring, because like, when you know they have your back at your old job, not to say that I didn't have good supervisors or good people around me, but society and the law really don't have your back anymore. So regardless of what your boss thinks, if you're on the wrong end of the deal in that job, it's no different than this one. Like, you'll be jobless and won't be able to get another police job, you know,
So, I mean,
or any other job.